Hello everyone. Today we're going to learn about Punnett square notes. And so we're going to start talking about monohybrids. So you're going to follow along in your notes that I have posted on Moodle for you. And you're going to follow with this PowerPoint. So we're going to start with some vocabulary words that I want to show you. So dominant is going to mean that your dominant trait is expressed. What I mean by this is if I'm talking about hair color, for instance, and we're talking about brown versus blonde hair, you would notice that brown is going to be dominant. So noticing the big B, or a big B, lowercase b. Again, anytime you have a capital letter, that is going to be considered dominant. Whereas the word recessive is showing that this trait is going to be masked by the dominant trait. For instance, in this scenario, big B, little b. However, recessive, to show that they would have the recessive trait, they would have to have two lowercase b's. So two lowercase b's would resemble blonde hair. A big B is going to be resembling brown, and a capital B, lowercase b will resemble brown hair. So that's dominant, recessive when you see those words. The next word is called homozygous. Homozygous is going to mean the same, so it'd be big B, or little b. Heterozygous is different, so you have one capital, one lowercase. So one big B, one lowercase b. The word genotype is going to contain the alleles of the organism. And so you're going to have each one. So you're going to start with big B. So how many of those do you have compared to how many big B, little b's do you have compared to little b? And I'm going to show you some examples later on in this PowerPoint. The next word is phenotype, and phenotype means the physical appearance. So in this instance, brown versus white, or blonde if we were talking about blonde hair. The alleles, they are going to determine the gene form of the letters. So they're going to be the B's, the little b, big B, whatever the letter is, that is what the allele is going to be. And you're going to have two of them. So they're either going to be homozygous or heterozygous. All right. So a monohybrid Punnett square involves one trait. So we're only talking about one. And it's going to have boxes that look like this. You've probably seen this before in another science course, but we're going to do a little bit of review before talking about our Build the Baby Part 2. So the gametes of one parent is going to go at the top, and the gametes of the other is going to go on the side. And then these inside boxes are your possible offspring. And those are called our genotypes. So here's one. Here's an example. So we're going to cross, the trait's going to be height. So in our resemblance, you're going to talk about tall versus short. And so here is big T, little t crossed with big T, little t. So this is a heterozygous crossed with another heterozygote. So that's where they would go. That's where the other two would go. And then you, kind of like a multiplication table, you're going to take big T and this T, and they're going to meet them together. You're going to do here and meet them together. And so here we go. So we have big T. Then you have big T, little t. Then you're going to go to the next line. Big T, little t. And then we have little t. Okay? Now, there are some questions that go along with this. I'm going to show you on the next slide. So, possible questions that could be asked. So, what's the probability of this couple having a short child? So, remember, tall is dominant. So if tall is dominant, I'm going to go back to here. Possibility of having a short child. So remember, dominant means anything with a capital letter. So this has capital, that has capital, that has capital. Does this have capital? Nope. Bingo. That one's going to be short. So that one would be, you have a 1 in 4 chance of having a short child. So you would have 25%. What's the phenotypic ratio of the possible offspring? So phenotypic, remember, how many tall compared to how many short? So let's go back. So how many are tall? So remember, anything with a capital letter resemble tall. So 1, 2, 3 are going to be tall, and you're going to have 1 short. So tall to short, 3 to 1. The genotypic ratio of the possible offspring. So remember, that's all the different types. So how many big T's do we have? big T, and then how many little t? So we have one that is going to be homozygous dominant. We have two that are heterozygous dominant, and then one homozygous recessive. So what does that look like? It's a bunch of words that I just said. You would have big T compared to those. So you would have 1 to 2 to 1 ratio. And that's what a ratio is, just with the colons. Okay? All right, now we're going to try. So I want you to cross a big B, little b. So again, this is going to be heterozygous dominant with a homozygous recessive. So the trait is hair color. So we're going to do brown to blonde. Tell me the genotypic ratio and the phenotypic ratio. So I want you to pause the video to try the problem. So you should have big B, little b at the top and 2 little b's on the side, and it should fill in this way. Okay, if this was not the case, go back to the example, try to figure out where you made your mistake. Okay, so again, I want you to pause the video now, and I want you to find the genotypic ratio. Go back to my examples from the previous one. So genotypic ratio. So going back here, you have no homozygous dominant. None of them are going to be big B. So you're going to have 2 that are big B, little b, and 2 that are little b. So let's go back. So it's 0, 2 to 2. Now, I want you to pause the video again and try to find a phenotypic ratio. We're going brown to blonde. So brown to blonde, 2 to 2. We can simplify that. So that's just dividing by the common denominator. Again, if they're the same number, it should just be 1 to 1. But if you left it as 2 to 2, that's totally fine. You don't have to simplify. Okay, we're going to try one more time because not all the time is it written the way, like how I want you to say it. So for instance, go back to this one, and it was written saying big B, little b crossed with little b. Well, this one is all words. It's like a word problem. So think about word problems in math. This is a word problem in science. Cross a homozygous dominant black dog with a homozygous recessive white dog. Tell me the genotypic ratio and the phenotypic ratio. So I want you to pause the video to try the problem. If you don't know what allele to use or what letter to use, go ahead and use the B because it's the black dog. All right, so you should have crossed, it said homozygous dominant, so big B, and it said a homozygous recessive dog, so it's little b. So this is what you should have had, big B on the top, little b, and guys, this can be interchangeable. It doesn't matter. You could have put little b at the top and big B on the side. They're the same thing. The only difference is anytime you have a capital letter, it's just like in English. You're putting the capital before the lowercase letter. So it should be big B, little b. And notice it's all the same answer. So now I want you to pause and find the genotypic ratio. So the genotypic ratio is big B compared to big B compared to little b. Well, there were no big homozygous dominant or homozygous recessive. They were all heterozygous. So it's 0 to 4 to 0. Pause the video to find the phenotypic ratio. Phenotypic ratio is how many black dogs versus how many white dogs. There were 4 black dogs and there were no white dogs, so it was 4 to 0. So this concludes the slideshow. If you have questions about this and you're still confused, please let me know. I've also uploaded something onto Moodle. It's kind of a help sheet to help you out. There's also a video to help you. It's something I found on the internet that you can use. And then you're going to complete the monohybrid practice worksheet. So we're going to do this first, and then lesson 2, we'll use what we've learned here to help with the finding our baby for the part 2 of Build a Baby. So if you have any questions, please email me, let me know. Thanks.